Alrighty, guys. Good morning to y'all here on YouTube. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Sunday, September 14th, 2025. And we've got some severe weather to talk about today as tornadoes, damaging winds, and hail are all possible today across the central and northern plains, where we've got an upper level dynamic system that's moving through. We've also got an update on now a higher chance of our next tropical system in the Atlantic forming as we go through next week here with a 70% chance upgrade from the National Hurricane Center this morning. We've also got a couple other things that are going to be talking about as well in terms of the tropics and well as our global pattern as we go into next week as well. So a lot of different things going to be changing in and around as we go into fall here, as we go into transition season. So expect severe weather to be ramping up here pretty soon as well, as we will see today severe weather in the plains, and we'll start to see severe weather as well as some other pattern changes as we go into the end of the month here. So a lot of things still to watch. I see a lot of people out there right now trying to knock off hurricane season, saying that we're not going to see anything this year. If you guys, like I said, have been listening to the videos and you've watched and paid attention over the last couple of years, we've seen most of our hurricanes at the end of September and into October. So we had Helene at the end of September. We had Milton last year in October. So it's not done. Just because we're seeing a quiet lull in our season right now, and really it's been a quiet season in general, doesn't mean we're not going to see storms. So I want you guys to understand that. So always be prepared until the season is officially over with. So we're going to start here with upper level satellite imagery here this morning, our satellite imagery on what we've got going on here. You can see our huge upper level low sitting here across Colorado. This is going to be ejecting up northward here, and it's actually going to give us two areas today of severe weather, more higher severe weather back down here across the Kansas-Nebraska line, where we'll see that low forcing potentially some large hail, some damaging winds, and a couple of tornadoes today. And we're also going to see another little piece of energy up here across North Dakota and South Dakota, where we actually have our highest tornado risk, I believe, so far this month. I'll have to double check on that. It's sitting at a 5% right now for today, but we could see a couple of brief weak tornadoes out there across North Dakota and South Dakota today. So you guys need to have alerts on your phones today. You need to know where to go when you get warnings. Today is definitely a day to be prepared. We'll go ahead and head over here to the tropics right now. And right now, a lot of nothing other than our area that we're watching right now here. This will more than likely become invest very soon here. Once the National Hurricane Center designates that, I'll do a video update for that. But the good thing is with this system here is a lot of the guidance, and if not most of the guidance, is actually showing another recurve, kind of like we saw with Aaron. So this looks like an Aaron situation again. We don't know how close it's going to get to the islands here. We don't know how close it's going to get to Bermuda or the East Coast. We're going to watch it. We're going to track this thing. But right now, this cold front that's kind of hanging around up here along the East Coast is also going to help move the system off to the east here as it starts to progress northwestward here over the week here. So a lot of things to watch. We're still watching the possibility for some convection down here to maybe initiate something in the Gulf this week. The models have really backed down on that, maybe potentially waiting until the end of the month or going into October before we see something down in the gyro, but you never know, something can spin up. And also, I want to also mention something here the National Hurricane Center does not have highlighted yet, and I'm actually surprised that they don't, is this upper level low that's just kind of sitting off the East Coast. There's actually a couple models and a bit of ensembles out there that actually agree that this could take on subtropical or hyper characteristics here, basically meaning this could be a weak tropical system just kind of hanging out here off the East Coast. If you're in North Carolina, South Carolina, along the beaches here, definitely some rough waves out there, definitely some rough currents, definitely some showers and some convection out there and a little bit of wind. So this could, in fact, potentially take on a low chance of some tropical depression status. I just don't really see that happening. If the National Hurricane Center highlights something, we'll talk about it. But right now, just an upper level low here, kind of just hanging out off the East Coast. But other than that, pretty quiet here. We'll continue to watch our invest here. This is going to be the main topic for the week here as this continues to start to move its way westward and eventually moves its way northwestward here. Once that turn happens, we'll, be in the all clear with this system. But like I said, we're still going to have to watch it in case some crazy weird stuff decides to happen as we go towards the week here. So that's what we're watching in the National Hurricane Center this morning, upgrading to a 10-70 ratio chance. So basically a 10% chance of cyclone development here in the next 48 hours. You're not really expecting much in the next 2 days, but gradual development as we go into next week here. By the end of next week, we'll more than likely have our next name system, which will be Gabrielle. So that's something we're watching here. And if you're looking at this, there's a lot of possible scenarios on where this could go. Could go west, could go northwest here, could go straight out east here. There's not really any ensembles or any models that really per se push this thing along the East Coast, and that's going to be due to this low that's going to be moving through and this cold front that'll be pushing through at the end of next week. That's hopefully going to push this thing out to sea. So once again, this is like an Aaron situation. Again, I know you guys are probably going to see people say, oh my God, another one's coming our direction. Get ready. That's not the case here. We've just got too many fronts right now that are swinging off the East Coast to really keep these systems out to sea. If we're going to have any potential impacts for anything, we would have to see something either come through the Caribbean or come up through the Gulf. And right now, that's just not what this system's going to do. Not saying that we can't see something in the next little bit here, but right now, just not looking at that. I'm not worried. You guys shouldn't be worried. You guys know the drill on that there. Taking a look here at the Eastern Pacific as well this afternoon here, or I should say this morning, we do have Tropical Storm Mario again. This re-intensified back to tropical storm status, and we'll get a new advisory on that here as well here in the next little bit. Once that comes out, we'll talk about that as well as we go into tomorrow. But Mario going to bring some rainfall to Baja California. Still watching a low chance of tropical development south of Hawaii that'll be moving westward, and then another area behind Mario here. as we continue to see the tropics go crazy over in the Pacific, continuing to watch those next storms pop out here. Taking a look here at the ensembles here this morning with the with the GFS ensembles, I should say. And I want to mention the GFS is starting to once again see some type of CAG development as we go towards the end of next week now. So originally we were looking at the beginning of this coming up week. Now the models are starting to kind of signal, hey, we may see something again, a low try to spit off the gyro again as we go toward the end of next week. So this will be more towards the end of September that we're going to have to watch. And I know a lot of people see that and they're like, oh gosh, here we go, Helene all over again. That's not the case here right now. We don't even have a system to worry about. So I know a lot of people are going to have a lot of fear. We're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of Helene. So unless I'm worried, like I said, you guys shouldn't be worried. We're going to be okay. So we'll keep you guys updated if anything changes on that. But this is really where we're watching here is this low that's kind of spinning with what will become our next name system here. And there's a lot of disagreement on where this is going to go. Could go as far as west as almost the Bahamas. Could go as far as out to sea here north of the Leeward Islands. This is literally the same exact scenario as Aaron once again here. And I know there's going to be people that try to hype this up, and there's just no need for that. So once again, we'll keep this updated. If anything changes or anything drastic happens, we'll let you guys know, and we'll have video updates afterwards here. Taking a look at the European ensembles as well, a little bit different with the Euro. The European less likely to see any tropical development right now through the 24th, which is typical. But I want to mention something here. The European does like the idea potentially of a weaker system progressing a little bit further to the west here, which is a little bit more concerning. You've got a little bit of a split ensembles here between an out to sea curve and a further west track. So that's why this is not a slam dunk. This is going out to sea situation right now. And I know people are going to try and say that there is no chance of this going based off of what we're seeing, but you just never can rule what these things can do out. It's the end of September coming up here as we watch the system, or the middle to end of September, and things can change. So we're going to have to watch it. Not set in stone on the system going out to sea quite yet, but we will potentially have a close call to either the Leeward Islands or just, nothing at all. So there's really two different scenarios here. It either gets close to the islands or it goes out to sea away from the islands. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. Just a lot of different trends on where this is going to be going over the next couple of days. But the main story for today is actually going to be that severe weather forecast. We do have a pretty big marginal risk today. And I mentioned in yesterday's video, we might get a slight risk for today just due to the characteristics of this trough that's coming in. And we do have a huge marginal that extends basically from Midland, Texas, all the way up here to Grand Forks, Fargo, up towards Minot. We've got Bismarck, you guys here in North Dakota. The good news is down here into Texas, Oklahoma, and southern Kansas, this is mostly going to be a hail and a wind threat if you see anything. Those slight risks is where we're worried about that tornado risk at. And we actually have a 2%, a huge 2% that goes from North Dakota all the way back down here into Colby, Kansas, getting into McCook, Nebraska, and then a 5% tornado risk on top of that. Here's our first 5% tornado risk in quite some time here for central and northern portions of North Dakota and South Dakota. I will let you guys know now, I don't plan on going live to cover this today. It's a very brief week tornado risk. I know you're looking at the odds and you're like, hey, they're high. We may get a couple out there. I've got a lot of stuff going on today. I'm not going to be able to cover, but be safe out there. Know where to go when you get alerts. Know where to go when you get warnings. You guys know the drill here. I'm not expecting like an outbreak or anything. We probably will have a couple of tornadoes out there today, but on the weaker side of things. So just expect that there if you're in those Dakotas down towards Nebraska and northern Kansas. Wind threat today at 5%. Very weak wind threat today at 60 miles per hour. And then that hail threat very small. So really today is a tornado driven day, which is not very often you say that here in the plains this time of the year, but there is a chance for a couple tornadoes today. Be mindful of that. We'll talk about the timing on that here in just a moment. And then going into tomorrow, no severe weather expected. General thunderstorm risk across much of the plains going into the Ohio Valley. And then we get to day 3 here and we have a little tiny marginal risk that extends back out here into portions of northern Kansas and southeast and eastern Nebraska. So we'll keep you guys updated on that if anything changes there. Taking a look here at our 2 areas that we're watching there for severe weather today, we're going to see that upper level low be moving some storms and convection. You can see the spin with that upper level low, and this is where we're going to have to watch right in here along that low for a couple brief weak tornadoes. This typically happens when you get these upper level troughs that move up here into this direction. A lot of times you get already enough spin with that upper level low moving. You can get those dynamics to come in, and you can get a couple of tornadoes. So once again, between about 1 o'clock this afternoon and about 5 to 6 p.m., we'll see that chance for tornadoes. And then right around 7 to 8 p.m., that's going to move up into Canada. And then we'll see those storms mostly fizzle out with a couple showers and thunderstorms still ongoing across Minnesota through the overnight hours. Once again, very weak tornado risk between about 1 o'clock this afternoon and about 6 to 7 p.m. And then that will be moving out. And then we'll see most a region and storms as we go into tomorrow. We could see some more storms across the Dakotas again tomorrow, but in the lesser side of severe weather side of things. So something to make a note of there. We'll also take a look down here from Nebraska down to Texas. You can see that upper level low spinning. A couple of isolated weak tornadoes possible here across Kansas, Nebraska line. That's something we're watching very closely here. A higher chance the further north you go up toward the Dakotas, lower chance you go down further south, but you can't rule out a couple. Once again, same time frame here between 1 o'clock this afternoon, about 6 to 7. And we actually could see a couple clusters of storms with wind and some hail after 7 p.m. across Kansas, Nebraska here, getting down towards Oklahoma as well. Just something to make note of here. I don't think the tornado risk is too worrying down here. Really just talking more damaging winds and hail if you get anything out of this, and then those storms will fizzle out around midnight. and then we're off again to see storms as we go through getting into tomorrow with the general thunderstorm risk. So really not expecting too much today. Just be mindful. Severe weather is severe weather. Things can happen in those risk zones. Things can happen outside of those risk zones. So make sure if you're in and around those risk zones today, that you have those alerts on your phones, know where to go when you get warnings, and just be smart and be safe today. It's Sunday. I know a lot of people are going to be watching football. Plans are going on. So just be smart about that as we go through today here. And here's really what's driving our force. We're actually seeing that upper level low move to the north here over today and tomorrow. And we've actually got the remnants of this omega block pattern that we've had in place for the last couple of days. That high pressure dominating, bringing us very, very warm temperatures across the plains, the Ohio Valley. Well, that's finally going to push that cold front east here, and we're going to see this trough kind of hang around here with that potential for a subtropical or hypertropical system back over here along the east coast. So that'll be in place through Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. This upper level low will move up into Canada, and really as we go into the week here, I don't expect a lot of severe weather. Could see a little bit of isolated severe weather both on Monday and Tuesday up here into the plains, but really just not seeing much. And really in reality, severe weather should stay pretty minimal through much of the weekend here. Now, as we go towards the weekend, we may see a new pattern emerge and a more concerning pattern for a lot of different things coming as we go toward the official last week of September. So you can see here going into the last month or the last week of September, we may see another omega block, but a stronger troughing process come in, or another stronger troughing mechanism come in, and this could actually start to ramp up that fall severe weather season. So it's just a matter of time before we really start to kick things into high gear and we start to see, you know, trough after trough or system after system. So when you start to see this enter the picture, it also kind of makes you think, hey, you know, hurricane season may, you know, or may not be a thing. We're just going to have to wait and see how that plays out as well. There's a lot of things that could make or break hurricane season this year as we go into the month of October, end of September here. A lot of the times we have to watch for, like I said, those close to home systems that form out of the Gulf and down into the gyro. So something we're going to have to watch for over the next couple of weeks here, and we'll keep you guys updated on that. We'll play one more thing here before we let you guys go for today, and that's going to be that 7 to 10 day rainfall totals here. And this is going to be the rainfall all the way through we get into next Monday here. And we've got most of the rain happening across the central and southern plains with that pattern for severe weather / just general thunderstorms that we're going to be seeing over the next 7 to 10 days here, and a little bit of heavy rainfall along the eastern outer banks of North Carolina, getting up into Virginia there. So really not a lot of rain for a lot of people, and we need the rain in some places and we're not getting it. So we'll keep you guys updated if anything changes. Have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday, guys, and we'll see y'all in the next one.